Hello. Okay, so I probably should have done this one first, but uh, so I've talked about window.ipfs a little bit already, and it's this way of talking to an external IPFS node, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about how that works and what it can do, and so why it works the way it does. So I haven't prepared this, so I'm sorry if this is a little bit disjointed, but what it essentially does is it puts an IPFS object on your window, so you should just be able to, sorry, 1 minute, bigger. We don't care about the fact that this is Google, but it puts an object on the window which looks like an IPFS node, and you should just be able to do stuff like call your regular IPFS IPFS.id. Okay, you should be able to call regular API stuff. In Companion, we have this idea of like ACLs and just not allowing anybody to just access your IPFS node. So when you when a website tries to use your IPFS node, it comes up with an ACL dialog to say, do you want Google to access your things? And of course, you can deny that or you can allow it. And if I allow, then basically I should be able to call my IPFS node. And I'm currently talking to a Go IPFS node here on 0415. But then in Companion, I think if this works, I should be able to switch that over to an embedded JS IPFS node. Whoops, there we go. So we get a little JS sign up there so that we know that we're talking to this stuff. So it takes a few seconds to connect to the things, but then I should just be able to call that again, and I should get a different agent. It is JS IPFS 029 at the moment. Cool, right? Yeah. So I'm just going to switch that back for a second. So I can do stuff like it's good because it works, and the like technical challenges with it is that like the web browser extension runs in its own process. So like the IPFS node, or like if we're running JS IPFS, we basically want to share our node between lots of websites because it has advantages such as like it doesn't take time to download it. It will already have connected to a whole bunch of peers and stuff like that. So that sort of has to run in a separate process, and we can't just share that process or that object with a web browser. Like that's just not how it works. And if you look at like iframes in the web or anything, if you want to ever talk to a different web page, you always have to do it over like a post message API. You have to pass messages basically to figure things out. And so what we're doing to implement this window.ipfs is we are talking over a post message API to another process where the IPFS node is running. So when we're talking to Go, we're actually talking over post message to JS IPFS API, which is talking to Go. When we're talking to when we've got an actual JS IPFS instance running in the web browser, we're talking over post message directly to a JS IPFS. So that's kind of rad. And so there's some like to be able to talk over that boundary, we need to do things like this. We don't always pass like things that can be easily serialized. So there's like this whole kind of, if we're passing like a DAG node or a CID instance, we need to serialize it into some sort of format that can be passed over the post message boundary and then deserialize it on the other side. And so this is why the library called IPFS post message proxy exists. And yeah, so you've basically got a whole bunch of call stubs that make like RPC calls over window.postMessage to like the exposed API. You choose which kind of what methods of your API you expose, and being able to choose which methods allows us to add things in like ACL in front of it on the side where it matters. So this is like web page side, and this is the side where the web extension is, where it should be making the decisions or not. And then what we're doing to check that this module is doing a good job is we're using the interface IPFS core tests to make sure that what it's doing is working. So we've got tests. So what this does is actually spins up a browser, puts an iframe in it, and then runs a JS IPFS in the iframe, uses the interface IPFS core tests to test the call stubs, which talk to JS IPFS, and if everything passes, then we're doing a good job, and it's all good. So that's kind of what it's doing. And so to talk a little bit about, this module itself doesn't implement the access control stuff. That's kind of implemented in Companion, but it allows you to kind of put that layer in between. And then we've got stuff like for MFS access, we scope each website into its own folder. So you transparently use MFS as you normally would, but that gets mapped onto dapps / your domain name. So each website isn't overwriting each other's files, basically. So again, we do that in Companion. And then to show you, so the Companion, you can drill into the permissions dialog, and you can see what has been granted. Like I just granted, you saw the dialog come up, and I just granted this here, and I can hopefully toggle this off to deny it or remove it entirely and go back, and I should just not be able to call that now. Yeah, so I got denied access to call ID. And if I remove the permission entirely, then I don't, it should ask me again if I want to allow it. Cool, yeah. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, I think you can clap.